Welcome to Studio SuperCoach. Hope you guys are well out there. I'm feeling a bit nervous. Maybe because I've got no virus protection. But, yeah, big teams tonight. I feel like I've got enough on my plate already. Can't afford any unexpected mishaps tonight. Will Smith return? Does Matt Flynn return? Probably not. I think he's got to go anyway. Some rookies maybe bobbing up. But look, I've got a fairly sizable list of names. These were some familiar names that kept bobbing up on our live the other night. So I'll go through those. But yeah, I'm sure I'll miss some that you're interested in. So please let me know in the comments. And I'll do my best to get around to those either Friday or Saturday. It might not be in time, but look, hopefully my content today and on TikTok will cover all bases. So we knew Sardis was out. I guess firstly with Sardis, I'm open to keeping him. I've probably got enough on my plate already. I don't really need to worry about what to do with him. I still feel like he'll come back in a week or two. Yeah, maybe does he keep his spot when Parrish is back? I don't know. I thought he looked relatively impressive. So I've still got faith that Sardis could become a good cash cow and make his way over 320, 340k. But I do understand if you trade him out, I can certainly see the point in that. Sardal Hooley, obviously he's a guy that we talked about and probably expected a debut from for some time, but we finally get that now, and he could be a handy cash cow come, two weeks' time. Ooh, Camperali being dropped or however he's out. I wish these would just say which way they're out. Actually, there is a way. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but what else have we got? A few changes there for the Ds. Maybe some be happy about Johnson coming back. Flanders is in, so mark him down as a guy to certainly consider picking up. Hopefully he starts a bit slow. Be interested to see the Cats team as well. Yeah, nothing too crazy going on there. James Leake goes out. I think a few people are probably moving on him anyway. Wow, so Smith comes back and Tom Stewart is named somehow. What the heck? I thought he was gone for 6 weeks at one point. Wow, so look, obviously you hold him. Let's hope he's not a late withdrawal, but certainly puts him in line for a handy little upgrade because his price is going to drop significantly off the back of that 9. So yeah, watch this space. I'm stunned that he's been named. Crazy. Surely he's a chance to be a laid out, but... and then we move into Sunday teams, of course, and we'll have a few players just waiting to see if they do get selected. Just to make things real interesting, Matty Flynn does come onto the extended bench just to really give us something to think about. But I'd be surprised if he was named. I'll tell you what, Ryan Marrick, not the worst option, just a little sneaky rookie. Clay Hall, a few people will be looking at. Hewitt, we hope, gets named. I wonder if a few people are still interested in Allen. Dewar won't get dropped because he was fantastic. So, yeah, look, there's a bit to talk about. I'll go through each of these names and we'll have a look at my side as well and my potential trades. And, look, we're going to go about it the fact that, look, I think Flynn's got to go regardless. Even if he does come in, like, Cherry just looks in outrageous form. Like, I don't want to see him go up to 700k and I won't be able to touch him. So... I think that's got to go. Just my general philosophy and something that came through a lot on the lives was, what do I preference here? What do I prioritize? Don't miss the cash cows. Make sure you got the cash gem because these are the guys that are going to allow us to upgrade in a few weeks' time, over the next month or whatever it is, to much better players in our side. So don't miss the good cash cows. And keep in mind, Riley Bice, Sydney have the bye this week. So you can get him in next week. Even Joel Hamling is sort of putting his hand up as a reasonable rookie option. So, look, Perryman will go. Flynn will go. And I'm thinking Sanders will go. Which probably means Will Day stays. Which I did originally probably want to trade him out. Maybe to Chera. Even Josh Ward got thrown up. But, look, we'll work on my trades a little bit later. But I'm sure most of you guys want to discuss a few of these names. So let's go through them. And look, I think Jack Henderson is a guy that I could get on board with. Like, I don't think he's a must-have. He's 99k. he is a mature age recruit, but then he hasn't been scoring amazing. I am mindful that Judd McVee's to come back, Caleb Windsor's to come back, Keziah Pickett's to come back. I'm iffy on the job security, I must admit. Do I go one early on Clay Hall? I don't know, because I feel like what's the injury list for West Coast? I feel like Elliot Yeo could just come back in and take his spot. Okay, he's 4 to 5. I'm half tempted to go early on Clay Hall, but then we need to see if he even gets named. So my overall thoughts on Henderson is I don't think he's an absolute lock. You don't have to get him, but he could be a nice option. He's certainly one I'm considering. 99k gives us some serious bang for our buck, but it also wouldn't shock me if he wasn't in the team in 2 to 3 weeks, which concerns me a smidgen. So yeah, I don't know about the job security. Joel Frazier, so he'll be my inclusion for Perryman. And again, he's been an interesting watch because there's been certain times in both games that we've been like, oh, he's just not the pick. And then he'll smash out like a 30 or 40 point quarter. I think he even had a 50 point last quarter the other week. So which way do you want to cut it? He ended up on 100, or that he was on 50 at 3/4 time. So I think the fact is he's got scoring potential. Beveridge is happy to throw him into the guts, play a little bit half back, play a little bit half forward, out in a wing. You might have seen it on first crack the other night. He plays a range of positions, which can be bad for the most part, but it does show that Beveridge certainly has some faith in him. And he did throw him in the guts when it was game on the line against Collingwood. Attended every centre bounce in that last quarter. Suggests that he's pretty well trusted. And the fact is he's got 2 tons on the board, and guys like Short and Perryman haven't been able to do that. So let's back it in. I'm bringing him in. A lot of people talking about Zorko. I think a lot of people were like, do I go Zorko, Whitfield, Sinclair, Nasai Wanganeen Miller? The only knock I'd have on Zorko is that Coleman's coming back at some stage. And I'm not saying that it will affect his overall output, but it has to have some bearing on it, doesn't it? Like, I don't know. We've got to take it into consideration. Like, does he get moved to half forward if they prioritise Coleman's growth at half back? Do they just start sharing the kick-ins and the ball? But then you might say, well, Wanganeen Miller and Sinclair are fine, and so you can cut it all different ways. But I would say I do prefer someone like Sinclair. I do prefer someone like Lockie Whitfield. I'd even prefer someone like Jordan Clark. He is 36. He is evergreen. He just keeps on going. But just with the age and the return of Coleman, it's just a couple of factors that I'm just placing in behind some of those other stars that we do have on offer with our options down back. I think Bailey Smith doesn't really have to be talked about as much because he's now in. I guess that makes him someone that you've really got to consider. How do I make sure I have him in by the end of next week? Because he'll play his second game this week. I'm sure he'll go well. It is concerning the body. There's no doubt about that. It's like, what's happening here? There's niggles everywhere. I mean, is he fully right? And then he played and he was unbelievable. So hard to get a read on, but at that price, and if he backs it up again with a pretty nice score this week, he's quite simply a must inclusion. So start planning for that and how you would navigate getting him into your side after next week, because I think he'll be a guy that you need to get in for sure. And Stewart as well, not one that we need to talk about now, aside from make a bit of a plan as to how to upgrade to him. I don't know if he's a must-have because we know the concerns around the tags. We have a lot of good options down back. But gee, a Tom Stewart at about 450k, it's going to be hard to say no to, I reckon. So maybe consider that. Libba, well, he's going fantastically. I think he's a good trade-in option. He's probably started to prove me wrong a bit. I really felt like at the start of the year, he's just a guy that averages between 104, 107. At the moment, he's proven me wrong. So I'm not rushing to get him in, but I could understand as to why you would. A couple of other guys to talk about that I don't have on there, like Adam Chera, Tom Powell, or Callahan is on there. All really good options if you do want to go down from Will Day. And I can understand the concern with Day. I'm not totally writing him off. Like, he could come out and have another performance like he did in opening round. He might also cop Toby Bedford, and it could be really tough. But probably for my trades, just the urgency of needing to trade other guys has probably seen him stay in my team. So I hope he does turn it around. But my early week trade plans did have him going out. But yeah, I think you can trust Chera. I think you can trust Callahan. Tom Powell looked pretty good. I think we can trust him as mini downgrades. Probably not guys that they're not mini downgrades. They're probably guys that we can get a premium-like score for a little while at a much less cheaper price, and then they can be guys we have at M7 or M8, and then down the track they can be that luxury trade. They can hold their own at a midfield position, but I don't know if we keep them all year. But at the moment, they're scoring very, very well for their price. And Riley Bice, as we turn into some sort of poet, certainly make way for a bit of a plan to bring him in next week. Connor O'Sullivan, he's a must. Finn O'Sullivan, I'm not totally jumping ship, but I would be more than happy if you don't have O'Driscoll, or if you don't have some of these guys like Lindsay that are really key inclusions for our rookies, particularly the midfield. I would say, you could change him. He's had some nice moments, but it just hasn't translated to scoring, so I could understand why you would move on him. Same said for Jaden Short. I think he just hasn't produced the numbers we had hoped, so I think we can go sideways on him, or if people want to upgrade, some people are talking about Fraser and Short down to someone like, Perryman and Short down to someone like Fraser, or you could go up to someone like Bailey Dale. And look, we talked about Callahan, we talked about Day. I'll talk about these premiums in a moment. Bailey Dale, I think, is a really reliable option. My only drawback on him prior to the season was that he came in with a bit of a quad concern, I think it was. So I was just interested to see how he actually went. But he's flying. He's the main guy down there. Some people on the live were saying, historically he's overs. Like this is we come back to the pack. It's probably worth noting that he's not sharing any load with Ed Richards or Caleb Daniel, which has often been the case. So I think he is the main distributor. They love the ball in his hands. I think he's a good option. Carl Amon, not so much. I've seen a few people really liking him and putting him up. I just don't feel like this is something that he'll sustain. Like he's 500k. Yes, he's produced 2 good scores, but we've seen him produce good number, 3 good scores. Let's not sell him short. But he has produced good numbers in the past for periods of seasons. But ultimately, we've got to look at the history, like 91, 86, 92, 93. Like, I haven't seen anything drastically change that would suggest that he averages these huge numbers for the whole year. He is in good form. I love the way that he finished. I reckon it was this season, 2023. He finished fantastically. The back end of the year was really good with a month of big footy. But I don't know if he keeps it up. Kane Farrell's probably another one around that mark. I could understand why you would move to him, because I suppose the difference with Amon, I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's no real change in his role. Like, why would his history of scoring change? Where Kane Farrell, no Houston, it is actually a reason as to why his scoring may really take a bit of a spike and could change. But I'll let you make those decisions, but I wouldn't be jumping on Amon, but I would jump on Dale. Now, Horn Francis and Sheasel. Look, I'll keep it short with Sheasel. Don't trade him. This guy, all right, he scored 106 and 81 or whatever it was. Yeah, he's playing a bit forward, but he's still getting enough of the footy. He averaged 29 touches last year, averaged 118. First 2 weeks, he's averaging 29 touches. It's been his ball use that suffered him on the weekend, and the first week he scored 106. There's nothing wrong with that. So there's no need to trade him out. If you do, you'd bloody want to hope you got a plan to get him back at some stage. Horn Francis, I kind of can understand that, because I still believe Horn Francis will be a top 3 or 4 forward. I've got no doubt. He has started really slow. It'll be really interesting to see how he goes tonight. I think he'll go well. He's got a pretty good record against the Bombers, but I could see where you're coming from trading him out, because this guy's price is going to plummet. We've got 40 trades. I could see why you'd be like, yeah, I'll get him back, but I'll get him back at like 450. So I kind of get that. If you have avoided much of the carnage and you've got scope to do that, then makes sense. Personally, I've got much bigger fish to fry, but I think that's all on that list. So let's take a look at what I'm going to do. I think for me, I'm going to chuck the VC on De Koning, and then we'll chuck the C on Cherry. But what we'll do is we'll get Fraser in, and I need a serious bounce back this week, guys. I need a serious bounce back. We're ranked absolutely terribly. Now, Sanders... What was I doing here? I can barely remember because I know he has to go down and he goes to Cherry. So if we go the ruck, we just fix on that. Tristan Cherry. Then we've got 174. Now I feel like I had some sort of plan with, it was either, it had to be a midfielder. I'm just kind of weighing it up between, like, is it going to be... I think Henderson's probably you'll get instant bang for buck, like you'll have a price rise. Coming off of 72, like it's not a disaster. But then, Clay Hall's someone that we've often talked about, and he's had a bit of vibe about him. People like him. West Coast people talk highly of him, but I just wonder if he'll be in the side. So I might wait on that. I'm almost leaning towards Hall, but then he seems like almost a sub risk. I am really worried about McVee coming back. But a Melbourne supporter out there might be able to tell me better as to, what should I be looking out for? Should I be worried? So, yeah, we'll see. Because we could also quite easily just go Henderson. So that's probably what it'd look like. Then I put the C over onto Tristan Cherry. But I might just wait and see what we do with these Sunday benches, because where's Henderson at? It's always nice to see the guys named on the field, I reckon. Just gives you a little bit of extra confidence. Where was he named? So he's actually named on the wing. Even if one of those blokes come back, don't know. There's just something that concerns me about the selection. I don't know why. And then I'm also like, what if Hall comes out and goes really, really well, scores 80 again? I don't really have a need to bring him in. Like, I don't really have a guy that I need to downgrade. So I'm probably almost leaning towards Hall. I'm not going to lie. But we're just going to have a bit of a think about it. So let me know your thoughts. Feel free to chuck through a comment and a question. I'll do my best to get to it. And yeah. Pray for Shorty. We need a bounce back. Wish him luck. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.